Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I don't know how none of this is gonna come out because I don't have the best sound equipment and all that stuff. And the camera's trying to slide up and down the screen. It's dedicated to Jili. See if you can dance off of my music during your birthday week. That's what I would like. I want to see you dance off of my music. I'm saying happy birthday to you. All week long, all month long, all year long. That's a big number, man. That's another rite of passage. 9 is at that condition, not at the consummation, but at that particular condition of perfection. That is number 9, is the number of spiritual mastery. Jack, he was reciting Holy Quran to me left and right, so it's left and right by heart, Doc. I mean, the Arabic was perfect. And you was going one after another, Doc. I mean, I've never seen a 9-year-old child memorize the Holy Book that way. Not 9, man. I mean, adults ain't reciting the Holy Quran the way you reciting it, my son. It astounded me, and I didn't know what I was going to say to you on this video. I never know what I'm going to say to anybody. And I don't know how this came out, and if I don't like what I hear, I won't show it. But, I want to let everybody know I'm not trying to be Alex Jones, though I respect Alex Jones. I'm not trying to be nobody like that. I'm just, I'm not none of that. I see what I see, and I speak it. I speak it with all the love and compassion I have, and I know within me, and my humor too. I was reading some of the things I wrote today, and they just make me laugh. People approach things where they are. You're seeing something, or another person only what's within yourself, or you can't see it. You see the stars, you see the sun and the moon because you first see them within you. And I know you don't understand what I mean by that, but that's because you don't take time to listen to yourself breathe. You're so busy, you don't even take time to even notice you're breathing. You don't even take time to spend with your breath. And if you don't think you're addicted to Facebook, cut it off for a month. See if you can cut it off for a month and leave it. Look at your addictions to anything. And when you notice that there's bondage there, inspiration tells me to tell you, in the year King Uzziah died, he said, I saw the Lord high and lifted up. He said, above it stood what stood there in glory. You can read the 6th chapter of Isaiah in the Holy Bible for yourself. I speak to people who know the Bible. You don't know Quran, many of you. I'm going to speak to you. I'm going to speak to you in a language you can understand. I understand my language. I understand yours too. So my capacity is my capacity. My limitations are my limitations. Your capacity is your capacity. Your limitation is your limitation. I intend to say none of this. This is thinking about my boy, and that I could have shaved, I guess. I could put some black in my beard like some people I know, and then, but I don't look my age. I don't think. I really don't. It's not in my eyes. It's not in nothing. Allah has preserved me for some reason. Beard starts to turn white. Nothing old up in here. I told people, run up on old. But I'm not, I'm not all that. I'm saying I've got angels and things with me. I'm talking about unseen things. They talking about what they see. Unseen. There's more to it than this. There's more to it than just what you see, what you taste, what you touch, what you feel. And I'm not talking no new age nickel and dime stuff up into there with that. I did that, done that, passed through all of that. to get to what the saints are saying. And they're all saying it's an act of, determination, commitment, and all that. You get that from devotion and dedication. You get that when you study yoga and things like that. But you got branches of yoga. You got Raja yoga. You just don't have hatha yoga. You got Kundalini yoga. You got all kind of yoga. You know, like you got the mental. You know, I tell people, to me, Buddhism is not a religion. You know, religion means rejoin to me. Are you rejoined? Are you in the religion of rejoin to you? Where are you gonna find that you're talking about? You know, these doctrines and dogmas. Where are you gonna find it? In the end, you're gonna find it within yourself. And my first love's message, SIAM, Yahweh Shai's message was very simple. It's very simple. And I'm a theologian and all that good stuff, so it's gonna come out of me, you know. You want that thing down to the corner where they pimping the people, go down there and get that. I didn't ask you for nothing. If you don't have nothing in you to give, well, I'm gonna sit here and beg you for an hour to give to me, to give the SIAM so I can do for this and that. You already know. I have to tell you. You have a spirit within you that tells you what to do. You have a spirit that tells you to post me or whatever. It's in you. You know? I'm not trying to make nothing happen. I'm not. You know? And then if I boost with Facebook, and I have boosted with them, they turn around, security check me out, post it to my group. So I said, I don't know what that is. That's not loyalty to me. To me, if I'm gonna make an investment, at least, you know, give me some love back from that. You know, that's all I'm saying on that. And then I don't care. Because I'm not in control of the wind and the rains. Not in this state, I'm not. I was starting to say this one night. One of the greatest Islamic mystics, all these people are studying now that I haven't got anything to do with this. They're studying the Ibn Arabic. He's called the Sheikh al-Akbar. And he wrote a treatise called the Meccan Revelation by hand, sitting next to the Kaaba while he was fasting and praying in prayer. And he said things that some people don't understand, because if they don't have his states, they can't understand what Ibn Arabic was saying in the Meccan Revelation. He said these Arabic words, Huwa Lahua. That means you are God, but at the same time, you are not God. You figure out what that is. That's like a cone. That's like, what is the sound of one hand clap? say these are my seasonal colors. It's green and black. It's not what I originally. I found it in the garage all dirty, so I washed it in the bathtub with me when I took a bath. Yeah, so I wash some of my clothes with me when I take a bath. I bathe my clothes too. I have a wash and dry, so I learned from the Africans to take things that other people don't think about and make it work. You know? You don't have a mop like you buy from Walmart. You go get you a big long rag, and you dip that down in your water and you put it on the floor after you sweep it real good and you stand on it and you take your feet and you mop the floor. That's the way they taught me in Akibula, in Africa, in Senegal. I saw them take things and people throw it away, man. It was broke trash. They took stuff, lights, refrigerators, and they can make them work again. And they don't have our technology. It's amazing to me what some of them can do. And it's so brilliant and yet so stupid on the other end. I'll talk about that on other videos. I'm not talking about that tonight. But we all are brilliant and stupid at the same time. So, check yourself out until you levitate above that, you know. Other people talk about what they got to talk about. I got to talk about the inner man. You know, if I look at that stuff too long, it'll take me down and make me depressed. I ain't trying to be that, you know. It's out there. I know that. You know, everything is out there. It's always been out there. Before you got here, see? You know? But how are you experiencing sensation? How is it for you? Does it satisfy you? Are you fulfilled? You wanted to see, you wanted to smell, you wanted to taste, you wanted to hear, you wanted to touch it. Hula hoa. The greatest shape, Al Akbar. You got to respect him. Oh, Islam must respect even Al Arabi. He said, hula hoa. Dr. Howard Thurman said it like this, and he was a personal friend of mine in the last I think almost 3 years of his life on this earth, and he impacted Benjamin Mays, Jesse Jackson, um, host of white ministers and preachers. Uh, Dr. Thurman was one of the greatest mystics that ever walked the American shores, and it'd be good for you to study him. Those of you that are not afraid to read and who went to school and can read, because some of us went to school and still can't read. You know this is true. You know this. You know these things. I went to Harvard, yes I did. But I grew up at 949 Udall Street, off of Clifton Street. Oh, that's grace. Have you observed your grace? I don't say Happy New Year. You want me to say Happy New Year anyway. I gave the teaching. I told you it's Happy New Awareness, Happy New Now. Not happy yesterday, that's over. The last second is gone. People holding on to grudges and carrying on, they're stupid because when they look up, it's over. It's time to go. Your father's gone, your mother's gone. You sitting there holding hate in your heart and all kind of stupid stuff in your immature self, you know? We are children. We're observing, and you have to detach all these dhammas. As one of my Buddhist masters says, it's called a dhamma. I would say it's a little dharma. These things have no substance in themselves, perceived by the mind. Buddhism to me is not a religion. It's about moving the mind, understanding the mind, the monkey mind. It's always hopping all over the place. You don't even know who you really are because this is all the illusions are hopping all over all these things that trouble us and bother us. You know, we sit and look at them, we take them in and all that. You know, I'm going to stop posting certain things on my page, you know. When I tell people where they can go and they can look it up, you can look for yourself. Make your own decisions. I'm trying to talk about this inner man. There won't be no change without. That's the problem. That is the problem. And people are good at they need to be out there. People need to always tell you when there's a Mack truck coming down the street. We need people to tell us when a Mack truck is coming. We can't see from all 6 points. Not in this state. You can't see above you. You can't see beneath you. You can't see to the right of you. You can't see to the left of you and in front of you and in back of you all at the same time, in the same place, in the same space. Therefore, any judgment you make about anything in lesser state is not going to be absolutely correct because it's not the perfect 6 points in which correction can occur, which would be perfected viewing. You can reach that station maybe as a whole. Yeah, maybe men like Sheikh Jilani and my first love, Yahweh Shai, and others have reached that state of Christ consciousness. Some people make the Christ associated like he grew up with the name of John Brown Michael Smith next door to them. You know, Jesus Christ lived right next door. You know, I know the boy. He lived right down the street. Jesus Christ, I know him. You know, Christ, it means the power and wisdom of God, the anointing of God. That's been with man since the beginning of time. That didn't just begin and end in Yahweh Shai or Isa, alayhi salam, that you made into God when he told you to worship that which was his God. And I'm a preacher for free. Bring the book. You don't want to bring that book to me. Sister Grove and the greatest professors, Bishop Carl F. Smith of Union Bible College and others, and Dr. Harvey G. Cox, put something in me. You don't want to mess with me with that book. I know that book. A man asked Yahweh Shai one day, what is the greatest commandment? Can you get greater than greater? Think about these things. Just think about them. I'm not going to debate religion with you. Just think, just be logical, be sensible. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. People on television talking about them that accept the divine Trinity. When did you create that? How are you going to embrace something you created at 225 and 325 AD and it didn't exist before then? And then you put that on the people and then they grow up with that and they understand it as that. And I understand them. I was one of them. The people victimize the mind. They program us. And they tell us to go out and search for truth. And then when we do, they can't sustain it when we come back home with the truth. He said, what is the greatest commandment, Master? He was trying to trip Yahweh Shai up that day. Trying to mess him up. Because if you get him to talk about the law of Moses and talk against Moshe, Moshe's law that he brought, that They could have took him to the Sanhedrin right then. But my master was wise. He took that man's mind that day, and he ought to take yours every time you hear these words. He said, what is the greatest commandment, Master? Yahweh Shai. That people keep calling Jesus, and there wasn't no J in the Aramaic or the Hebrew, original Aramaic and Hebrew that he spoke or read. There's no J there. His name was Yahweh Shai. He said, thou shalt love Yahweh with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy soul, and with all thy strength. Then you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. He said, if you can do that, you fulfilled all the law. Wait a minute, you don't go read it. It's in your book. I didn't quote Quran to you. I didn't come with the Zendavesta to you. Well, I can come with that if I have to. Because at the core of all these things, I found them saying the same things. I'm sorry, that's what I discovered. Now, if you discover something else, that's because what you see. That's you have that ability. You have that right to see what you see. And I'm not here to talk to everybody, and I really don't want to close this page because I don't like talking, wrong people be hearing you and stuff. They be taking stuff the wrong way or whatever they take it, I'm just a poet reflecting some light in the world with my gifts and graces that I have been given. And I'm like Jonathan Livingston Seagull. You should read that book. You should read that book. Jonathan Livingston Seagull by right on the tip of my tongue. One of my favorite writers. Jonathan was a seagull that his capacity was more, let's say more than some others. And he broke away from the flock and began to experiment with his ability to fly. And he learned some tremendous things. He would go so high up in the sky and just go straight down, just testing himself. Testing himself. Using this atomic matter to test yourself rather than to look at it as something to always be fighting against, I suppose. And he did extraordinary things, and the flock was at first very frightened of him. They were frightened of change, and he represented change. He represented vision and movement. And we like to build monuments at the base of the mountain. After seeing the transfiguration, we want to build monuments. Yeah. But back to my story. What he told the man was very simple. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy soul, with all thy strength. And then you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. Well, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, until you want for your brother and sister what you want for yourself, you're not a believer in God. And don't tell me that was just the so-called Muslims when he was the Alamin. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He's much bigger than a box you got, or anyone has for him. He was the last and final lawgiver sent to this planet. You can't ignore him either. But people do because they've been taught to do that. And we are victims of what we have been taught. All of us. While we're searching for truth, you have to learn how to separate the meat of the fish from the bone. Each of us should be on a consistent self-discovery, and we should be looking for the final door, because when we came here, we came confronting that final door. And I sometimes think people should cry when babies are born, really. And I'm like, as a child said, Master Charles said, you know, maybe we should weep when children are born, because they're born into death. They're born into death. You come here with that the process of decay, you know, and now you want to pretend that you're here forever and avoid the most important thing, which is, I mean, seriously, do you know when death is coming? Well, since you don't, can't any of us afford to live as though we do? In our right mindfulness, our right speech, our right understanding. And you take time with everything else. You take time with everything. But you don't take time with the greatest thing, that you have been graced, which is your beautiful self. So don't read hate and anger in my messages, because I point out to you that there's the boogeyman over there. I didn't say hate anybody. I said observe your awareness. I'm saying observe what surrounds you. You make your own decisions about what you see. I'm but one witness of my experience in the world. I wasn't born to be a zombie. I wasn't blessed to be a machine. I was graced to be a human being. Can you get greater than greater? And every day, Yahweh was saying these words, Hear Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, one God. He was praying to that. He was praying to that. He was devoted to that. And people witnessed that magnitude of devotion to that. People like Lazarus and the blind Bartimaeus, they witnessed his magnitude of devotion to that. Who were like, oh, yeah, that would be thought to be God, wouldn't it? I mean, you and I could reach that station. But didn't my first love say these words? We have fragments of what he really said. Didn't he say to his disciples one day, greater things than these that you see me doing, you shall do? But can you ever be greater than God? Right understanding. So he wasn't speaking from a station. He was speaking from the station of the divine messenger, of the messenger, of the master. You can achieve greater than me. I want my disciples to be greater than myself. I want, if I have any baby eagles, I want them to be always greater than. Serene Sally wanted all of his disciples to be greater than himself. They were his eagles, his baby birds. They were his eagles. Eagle don't flap around like other birds. Just stop flapping. If you're an eagle, why are you flapping? Leave away and thinking. Gonna no, it's not about any of that. It's about emptiness. It's about the more empty you become, the more empty we all become. Then we can be filled. You can't fill what's already filled. You have to empty it to get new water and to get new wine into new wineskin, not in old wines. You put it in new wines. I suppose my real teaching is rooted in the teachings of all the saints, and all talked about emptiness. All of them did. Called it different things. Same thing. Letting go. This is a river. It's constantly moving. You want it to be fixated. You want it to be something that it's not. It's not the suchness of things. It's not the suchness of things. It's not the tahata. It's not the suchness of things. It's a river. Life is a river. You can't step in the same place twice. You can step into a new place if you have new awareness, right understanding, right consciousness, right speech, right thought, right speech, right action. It's part of the discipline. It's based on the application of the knowledge that you have been given. You and I are responsible for that treasure, that knowledge that we have been given in our walk through this existence. That is not too long. Believe me. Yesterday I was 20 and I looked in the mirror and I was, bam, you know. No, you figure out how old I am. I'm telling you. Sometimes all this debris, it overwhelms us and it catches us up and we're looking at all this stuff and we have to understand, finally we wake again. We say, oh, I went to sleep. I was asleep. I'm looking at all this illusion. I'm looking at all this crap that really has no real substance because it comes into existence and it goes out of existence. So it's no stability to that. It appears to be permanent while we're looking at it. And you have to learn to speed up your mind. I don't have any notes in my back pocket coming out the bathroom with a kuba or a majesty you. I just simply say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. If that which is in me is not great enough to speak what it wants to say to the people, what does it need me having my notes and all of my preparation and my flagging my degrees and carrying on in front of you? What is that supposed to do? Well, to certain people, maybe that's required sometimes. Maybe they need that to witness you. Paul did when he was on that boat and they were taking him to Rome. And they were about to treat him in a way that was not according to his station. And he said to them, "Why this camera keeps doing the Negro thing on me up at the Community Spirits liquor store?" He said to them on that boat, he said, "You can't do that to me." And they said, "Why can't we not do this to you?" And that great saint said, mystic, St. Paul was a mystic. He said, "I'm a Roman citizen. You have to respect Rome. So for those that need my degree, I say I have a master's degree from Harvard Divinity School. And primarily I study one-on-one at the feet of Dr. Harvey Cox, author of Secular City, Feast of Foods, Turning East, all them good books. Shook the foundation of world theology with the Secular City. I met him when that book was first popping, and it still is as a bestseller. That was my star who taught me the meaning of applied theology. And what? I'm blessed to go to Harvard and understand what applied theology is, and I'm going to be punished or what? Because I apply it. I feel like if I can't make the world a better place, then why was I sent here? And I do believe I was sent here. Maybe some just win. I don't know. I was sent. And maybe you just win. I don't know. Yeah, the post I said, they asked me, Facebook sends a notice out. It says invite friends to like this page. I'm not inviting Jack. Mm-mm. I tried to help some people, and I tried to lift them in my way on the page. And I know I did that, and I did it, because I loved them, and I wanted to see them prosper. And they don't value that enough to like the page. Like, what am I gonna invite you for? You know, what's the like gonna do for me anyway? It may make me feel good, like stroke me or something. You like, like is not paying the internet bill. Light is not sending a donation so I can do for some children. But like is not buying the book because I told people in my post, and that's not about me anymore. That's about wanting to help some children that don't have anything. That sang songs to me, and I just wanted to go back to that village and make them happy, and that would be a part of you making them happy if you did that. I'm going to change some things. I owe a brother 2 books. He bought 2 books. He's a son of mine. And I went through a lot of changes in this situation I've been passing through. And then the books came up disappearing from the house. So I had to order some more. And I know he thinks his book is not coming, but check with Kent. Father Sam does what he says he's going to do. I'm trying to hide my teeth from you because I'm having problems with my teeth, not because of my age. I'm having problems with my mother, and they never took me to a dentist when I was a little boy. That didn't happen until I got to be an adult. I'm supposed to be taking a child to the dentist every 6 months at least. So now I have problems with my teeth. This is a little Dharma, spelled with a small d. Dharma, Dharma, as Master Charles said, Dharma. But it's not the Dharma. And that's called different things by different mystical systems. It's been called that. Buddha didn't bring anything new. He just woke up something that had gone to sleep. It's always been in man's consciousness. It's the way, the real way of things. And you'll never see that with the mind flipping and flapping and jumping from tree to tree and from limb to limb. And I didn't intend to say none of this since then. Simply play some music to my son to say to Jili, uh, you're a remarkable child to me, man. I listened to what you was doing, man. Reciting Quran like that. You know what I say? You understand all of it. I don't think you understand every single thing you're saying in Arabic. No, I don't. I don't think you understand that whole entire Quran, its meaning, verse by verse. I don't think you reached that level. But you could surprise Boy, I don't know things you be doing. Walking on the edge of roofs and things when you was real little. You didn't have no fear. I'm standing there terrified. You just coming straight to me. I wrote about it, poem about that. Yeah, man. I watch you coming to me like this. I just kind of watch you like this. Oh, man, my son, if I say anything, I say, you'll fall off the edge of this roof right now. You'll be dead. I said, he's trying to get to me. And I said, oh, what am I going to do? I'm sitting way across on the side. I see you coming, right? So this is what the poem is saying. So, well, the time you got to me, it's like, I know if I said anything, if I screamed, if I got up even, it would make and you fall off the edge of this roof. So I'm sitting there like this, and I'm watching you. So when you did get to me, I said, I keep here. I said, what's wrong with you? You can't be doing that. This video was made for me. If you get something from it, oh man. Yeah, well, okay. If you get something from it, all praise be to that which is the Most High, the Al Malik, the Malik, Al Malik, the Al Malik, the Al Malik, the King. Whatever you call it, whatever that which created the heavens and the earth, that power, that majesty, that doxia, that kabod, that glory, Shekinah, Shekinah. If you're not the house that it's supposed to dwell in, what other house can contain any of it? You argue religion. I'm going to talk to all the religions about being rejoined. If you don't know to wipe this on you and you don't have enough understanding to do that, then don't. The Sheikh blows his prayer on you. You don't know how to wipe that on you. It's an act of obedience. Saul tells Samuel, offered up the sacrifice before he got there, and the Lord departed from Saul that day. The biblical account said. No, religion is not wrong. It's how people use it. Don't let the misuse or abuse of it cause you not to understand the disciplines and the understanding of knowledge and hidden secrets that's beneath the surface of names and places and things that are hidden in those scriptures. Don't be a parrot just reciting them over and over and over again. That doesn't give you any power. You can recite so many. If you can, that's a blessing. But can you live them? The more you're reciting, the more you're responsible for living. That weight gets heavy after a while, unless you're just bearing it from the ego in terms of how much you know. And you want to impress people with what you know. Impress them. Put an impress in everything around you by being aware of what surrounds you. Don't just grab the cup of coffee, drinking coffee, and just drink the cup of coffee. And you in downtown New York or you in Europe somewhere, you never felt the cup in your hand. You never experienced that moment. You were not in this present moment. You were not in this now. You were in the future. You were in the past. You missed. Life is a river. You missed that wave. You missed it because you were not present with that moment. We have to practice that meditation. Begins with your own breathing. First thing you did when you came out of your mother's womb was gasp for breath. You, and the doctor spanked you behind, make sure you could exhale that breath. You've been making noise ever since. But sometimes put the cigars down, put them down for a week. Put the cigarette out, put it out. Just attack yourself. Attack that about you that you don't like. Just take out your sword, your right awareness, right understanding, right seeing, right knowing, right speech, because we have right thought, right thinking. Are you satisfied to just run out your front door and look both ways down the street and say, "This is the world"? I mean, this is it right here. This is it. How about taking a trip in the space shuttle and break forth from the Earth's gravitational pull and go into outer space and see the whole entire planet? Will I be satisfied to just view 38th Street to 32nd Street with this limited vision? Why not practice? If you don't, the weight of this world will smash you. The debris is so heavy now. It's not the same as it was 20 years ago, 100 years ago. It's worse. It's heavy now. The debris, the magnetism of this darkness is heavy now. In order for you to be able to sustain this darkness that is now upon this world, you better get busy with your inner self. Because the change won't come from without. The revolution is not, it won't be televised. That revolution is about your inner being. Just about a total overhaul of us. In my order, when you give you give yourself to your master, to your Samabai. There's some words that you speak. I didn't ask you what religion you were. Those that claim me as that, to them, make sure that's what you want, because I'm not trying to, read the post recently that deal with what is said, and if that's what you're feeling inside in your innermost being, you speak those words to me. When speaking those words to me, you speak them to the Sicily that I belong to, the chain that goes back way before me to the house of Baka and Bake, Baka, Mecca. Not this thing that's now there that they doing stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the enemy. See? I hope somebody got something from this video. I don't know. I'm gonna listen to it. And if I don't like it, I just want to show it. Man, I hope you can hear me and all that good stuff. I'm not trying to. I wish I could just dim me out completely, and all you would hear would be my voice, maybe. To all my mystic lovers, I thank God for you, what we call God for you. To all my inner supporters that don't have the book, who haven't invested externally in me, so I can exist online and do some things I want to do. That doesn't mean you're not important to me. People buy you before they buy your product. If they love you, and I'll end this by saying that people only do as much for you as they love you to do. Those of you that post SIAM, you don't love me enough to be consistent and do that. You do it once a month, once a year. Alhamdulillah, thank you for that. You know, other things are on you. You know, you're not the one doing nothing. Who is using? He's using things in this existence. That's how I see it. He uses people as vehicles to bless you. And you have to recognize the lights in your life. I'm still talking. I have no notes. I have no manuscript. You can go get that on Channel 40 somewhere. You get that stuff. And I'm not trying to do none of that. I passed it. I did all that. It's that, hey man, I know what that is. That's what that is. I'm just trying to love. Just found my poem about my mistress. Who is Siam's mistress? Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Yabayagan. Ashante. Abarigane. Nungadef. Jili Boo Boo. I'm so very proud of you, bro. You're amazing. You're truly amazing child, man. You're an extraordinary young mind. Your mind is awesome. You're so talented. And, Papa wants you to jam, man, and enjoy every second. You know, every day is your birthday. You know, practice your martial arts and make many prayers for your father because you're still innocent enough that yours will get straight through. Or some of these old folks, you're carrying too much debris. Their prayer ain't rising up above the ceiling. So, speak them out loud because your words have power. Call Papa's name out loud with your love for me. And bless your father, St. Jelani. I hope you could dance to some of that music, and I hope it could be heard in a way. These people don't even listen to it right. They listen to cell phone. They're not hearing the zither box drum. And this is a new one that I have. It's a higher pitch. Tones are higher. Anyway, bless all my mystic lovers and my supporters and those that claim to be my enemies, if there are any. I don't have any. So maybe you got an enemy with yourself. I'm tired of having no enemies. So, no, those that believe in the power of prayer. This thing is like really tripping at it. It's moving. But everything in this existence is in vibration. It's in a state of constant change. It's just moving faster or slower. You can't see it, but this one moving fast now. It keeps sliding up and down. I can't get it to stick. Yet, anyhow, I was going to do this. Let me finish this prayer. Work that on your watch it, your external watch it. Symbolizes your inner watch it, your inner constitution, your total being. Wipe that prayer in your mental awareness and receptivity. It has nothing to do with how far away I am from you. It has to do with how close your mind and your spirit and your heart is to me. It has to do with your intention, your niya, your intention. Find those words that you speak to your samabad and see if you wish to speak them to me. And before you call me that, anybody, not just, this is not to one or two people, it's just anybody, call me that. Unless you understand what you're saying. Some already understand in the spirit, so I just simply want you to find the words that confirm what you are experiencing in your spirit in reference to this being called SIAM, this appearance of a manifestation in flesh of this thing, this being, this entity, this spirit, this soul, whatever you want to call it. Because when this leaves, they're going to bury this. This ain't nothing but a house. This is a temple. But this is not that which is in the temple. You can't bury this. Once again, where's God? Can you see your eyes? Happy birthday, Jili, baby. Jam for Papa. Get the cake and everything. Looking about it, but I came a day that came when it was supposed to get there. Jam all month long, all year. Jam, day and night. Your birthday is night. Birthday is a special day, a special nine, special number. You special child. God will protect you. You promise to do this. Be obedient to God. Flowing. Follow it. Follow that dial. Follow that way. That mustaqim. Stay on it. Pop. Thank you all. My support. Those who send good thoughts to me. Try to understand me. Try to feel me.